Hi everyone, my name is Maggie Harris and I am doing a PD plan on Early Learning Assessment, ELA. It's Ohio's Early Childhood Comprehensive Assessment System. So I put the yellow slide in here just to keep me on track for Sarah's requirements. So I already introduced myself. My name is Maggie Harris and I'm currently at Nelsonville York Elementary School. I am in preschool and I'm working with my co-teacher and the other preschool teachers in my school on ELA, and we also had a trainer come in and train us on ELA in August. But we've been working on it all year. And I've chosen this topic because the teachers in my grade level, it was new to them this year. Not only was it new to Kate and I because we were first year teachers, especially in preschool, but to the preschool teachers who were already in our school, it was also new for them too. It was a new statewide new early learning assessment that the state developed. Um, the reading specialist or the principal did not suggest that I do this topic. I just decided that I thought it would be helpful because I think it would have been helpful for me to have heard some of this information before I started doing the ELA. If I were to actually do this professional development session in my school, the people who would attend would be definitely the preschool teachers and anyone else who wanted to, really. If anyone was teaching infant or toddler in infant or toddler classrooms, they could attend as well. Other preschool teachers, people from different districts, people from whoever could attend. It would be an open thing, but it would really only be beneficial for people who were teaching children ages 4 months to 5 or 6 years old. So my session would occur in one session. It would be either one long session or maybe two shorter sessions. We would meet in the summer, either in July or August, so that way we would be ready for the school year. We would have the information that we needed to effectively do the assessments throughout the school year. Where would we meet? We would meet, if I would pick, I would just pick at Nelsonville, York, so that way everyone could meet in the common place that we all are. And if people from other areas wanted to attend, they could meet us there, or we could figure out where to meet. We would discuss the specifics and details of ELA. I'm going to get into a little bit of it, but then I'm also just going to post just the plain PowerPoint so you guys can look over it too. Because once you get the feel for it, it's pretty self-explanatory. The materials that I would use would be this PowerPoint, and then I would also get one of the books that they gave us. It's like it's like a book that has tabs on it, and it's really organized and color coordinated, and it's great. And it tells us each of our quote unquote standards and the developmental levels and different things. And I actually put it in the PowerPoint exactly how it looks in my book so you guys can see it. But if I could have those books, I would bring them to the PD. The activities I would have people participate in would be giving examples with what they would do in their classrooms, and also I would give them example scenarios and ask them how they would rate students. Rate meaning on the developmental scale, which I'll show you guys later. I would determine that they learned what I wanted them to just by asking them questions and having a discussion about it and seeing if they had questions and just kind of keeping that floor open and explaining whatever they're unclear about. The follow-up PD plans that I might conduct would be having sessions throughout the year, maybe 2 or 3, that people could come to if they wanted to, and just having kind of like having them talk with other teachers and seeing, oh, I did it this way, I did it that way, kind of just sharing experiences and figuring out better ways to assess the children. within ELA. So this would be the first slide of my PD plan, and it says, what is ELA? It describes ELA, and it lets everyone know that it's an ongoing assessment based on 24 observations. We use it to measure each student's progress over the school year. Within those, so those 24 observations are broken into 4 different categories, which I'll go over in just a second. And then it's an assessment that it uses progressions to measure the success of the students, the progress of the students. And those progressions range from ages 4 months to 5 years old. So like I said, the 24 observations are broken into 4 different categories. Those categories are social foundations, language and literacy, math, physical well-being, and motor development. So the levels that you're going to see in just a couple slides are as follows. So level A is placed at a developmentally 4-month-old level. Levels B, C, and D do not have ages attached to them for whatever reason. The state just didn't attach ages to those levels. Level 1 is considered developmentally at a 36-month-old or a 36-month-old or 3-year-old level. Levels 2 and 3 don't have ages attached to them. Level 4 is the beginning of kindergarten, so a young 5-year-old. And level 5 is the end of kindergarten, so an old 5-year-old or a young 6-year-old. And then on every few slides, I put a disclaimer that this information is right from the ELA handbook. So I wanted to show you guys exactly what we see in the ELA handbook, and then just go over details and explicit examples. So the first category is social foundations. So within social foundations, there's 6 different categories within social foundations. So this is what it looks like for us. So for each category, there is a box over here that tells us what it is. So emotion identification, next one, response to distressed peer, separation from familiar adults, seeking emotional support, play work with peers, and social behaviors. So going back to the first one, you'll see that the levels go from A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With A being the lowest developmental age and level 5 being the highest developmental age. So you guys can go to the slideshow and look at the different statements that are attached to each level, and it's just observations and how you would where you would place each child. So for each of the boxes over here, you do one of the levels. So for social foundation, you would do 6 observations of each child. And then when you see the dotted lines, like this one, it just means that the state did not put a statement with that level. For whatever reason, they just didn't put it there. So they don't have statements for levels 2 through 4 in separation from familiar adults. And then the next one, seeking emotional support, play work with peers, and social behaviors. So then moving on to language and literacy, the next category, there are 7 categories within language and literacy, which we do individual observations on. So rhyming words, for example, the 4-month-old developmental age, I guess, would be attends to language or communication, while the level 5 end of kindergarten level would be produces a pair of spoken rhyming words. So if you had a young 3-year-old coming in to a preschool, for example, they would be developmentally right on track if they were at a level 1. So they can identify a pair of spoken rhyming words. So if I say, do bat and cat rhyme, they should be able to say yes. And then syllables, onsets, and rhymes and phonemes, you can see that they don't start until level 2. The statements don't start until level 2. And initial, final, medial sounds, adding, deleting, substituting sounds. Those don't start until level 4. Purposes and situations, so this is more communication. For example, the level 2 uses language and gestures to express thoughts and ideas. It asks in response to questions. Whereas a level D would be uses 2-word or 3-word phrases or signs to communicate interests, needs, or feelings. So it just shows how children progress through these different levels, and it gives us something to show parents and administrators where children are. So word meanings, again, you guys can look through all of these and read these if you want to. And word relationships, so this one's different than word meanings, obviously, but so if a child isn't at a level 3 or isn't at the level that is after the dotted lines, the lowest level available is a level 3. So if a child isn't at a level 3 and they aren't there yet, then we would just put on our paper an A for non-applicable. They're not able to do that yet, which is perfectly fine. So within the next category is mathematics. Within math is 5 different categories. So it just goes through, oh, there we go. So a 3-year-old in theory should be able to recite number words in sequence from 1 to 5, and then a child at the developmental level of a child in the end of kindergarten should be able to count from 1 to 100. And then object counting, that's 1-to-1 correspondence, and then you can see the specific guidelines for each level. Number concepts is like identifying 1 to more, the total number of cents after being counted, a number just before or just after. And then supertizing is almost like estimating, kind of. So supertizing instantly recognizes and names the number of objects without having to count. So if you put 3 counting bears in front of a student, they should be able to say, oh, there's 3 without having to go 1, 2, 3. Numeral identification and writing. So this one again doesn't start until level 3, and at level 3 it identifies at least one written numeral with personal significance. So we would show students different numbers and ask, what number is this, what number is this? And if they can identify at least one, they get a level 3. If they can identify numbers 0 all the way to 10, they get a level 4. And if they can identify and write numbers from 0 to 20, then they would get a level 5. Physical well-being and motor development, 6 categories within here. So this just shows again the different things that we assess and how we put them in the different levels. I'm trying to hurry because I'm running out of time. So I'm trying to find one. Okay, so for this one, for example, ways adults keep children safe. So for this one, they can either get a 2 or a 4. So sometimes that's tricky to explain to parents when this goes on grade cards or things like that. So we actually have to pull out our book and show them, like, look, we don't have an option to put them in A, B, C, D, 1, 3, or 5. So at the end, I just wanted to say that all the typed information I typed was straight out of the ELA handbook. I typed it up so I could go over it in detail and let you guys kind of know exactly what we see, so you guys had it in front of you, kind of, and then give a few examples of how we administer it. And yeah, so I put the Early Learning Assessment, Ohio's Early Childhood Comprehensive Assessment System. I took a picture of it just to make sure my bases are covered. I did not steal any of this information. I was just going over it in explicit detail, and this is what I would do for my PD plan, only going over every single slide and every single skill in detail. So, thanks.